Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. My name is Krisell Valenzuela, and I am the multidimensional medium that will be spending time with you today. So thank you so much for joining me at my community readings for collective healing. What I like to do in these monthly live streams is to share psychic awareness, to share psychic readings, to demonstrate for people what is available to them spiritually. If you're new here, my story is that I did not have a history of having psychic awareness or psychic abilities. It is something that I developed within the last 4 years. Has it been 4 years? No, 3 years. It's something I developed within the last 3 years. And so I like to have these live streams to be in service to other people, but to also show people what is available to them. If I can do this, I know that anyone else can too. So if you're just joining, whether it be your first time or you are a returning participant, live stream watcher, thanks so much for being here. Drop me an emoji in the comments, say hi, share your name, and tell me where you're joining from. We're going to give it a few seconds, like maybe a minute, to let people kind of come into the room, come into the space, and then we're going to get started. And to just give you a kind of an idea of what to expect here today, what I'll do is a quick grounding exercise. And then what I like to do is have a little fun with this live stream. And so what I do is I'll have you actually think about your intention and then share an emoji. And it could have nothing to do with your intention for your reading today. My only ask is that you share what that reading means for you, because in sharing how it helps you or what it means for you, it kind of demystifies and makes it a little more accessible for others that are new to this, so that in the next live stream, one of the fence watchers might feel more comfortable participating and watching. Hi, Diane from Austin, Texas. Hey, Claire, always happy to have you here. Hi, Sandy from Redondo Beach. I'm from California too, so hi. Let's see who else is joining us today. And myself, I reside on Kizh land, also known as West Covina, California. And I do hold in-person and virtual events. So if any of you guys are local or are visiting in the Los Angeles area, come on by to one of my events. I do have one this Saturday, which is a psychic play circle where you will practice exchanging readings under my guidance. Hi, Brittany from Nashville. Thanks so much for being here. So I'm going to share a quick announcement, and then I'd like to just jump into readings. So something really fun and exciting that I'm going to start doing with next month's live stream is we're going to start each community reading for collective healing with an on-camera reading. And you can, Soki, hi Soki from La Puente. Hey, you're local. We're like neighbors. My kids are in the judo club at the La Puente Community Center. And then my kids are also playing baseball at the La Puente Little League. So love to have local close by faces. This is awesome. So we're going to start doing the community readings for collective healing with a live on-person reading. And you can win a chance to be this person that gets a live on-camera reading. And what's going to happen is that I'm going to have a graphic that basically shares information for the community readings for collective healing. And if you share it and tag me on your social media, that is an entry into the contest. So a few days before, and all the details will be released, and I'll be sharing it with my mailing list. If you're not already on my mailing list, please join. We will release the details in my mailing list along with a graphic a few days before the live stream. And then my lovely partner, Ira, who's in the background producing, she will pick the winner. And so we'll reach out to you with information to join the live stream, be on camera, and get your reading. So if you're curious, like, why would I want to join this contest if I'm already attending the live stream? Well, the live streams are really led by spirit. So whoever wants a reading, you pretty much show up and I let spirit guide me to who to read for. So this way, if you enter the contest, not only will you get a bit of a longer reading because I'm feeling like it's probably going to be like a 15-20 minute reading, as opposed to these like drive-by quick and fast readings. You can join the contest, and there's not going to be a rule against how many times you can win the contest. So just join the mailing list if you're interested in participating. And I'm really excited to have people on camera with me. Let's see here. Trying to change the light so I don't have this weird light on my face. Okay, anyways. So what I'd like to do is get a temperature check on you guys. Drop me a heart emoji if you guys would love to be on camera and get a reading with me during these live streams. And I'm just going to move my, there you go, that's better. No light. And real quick, I am streaming from my phone as opposed to typically using my laptop camera. So I hope you guys appreciate the better camera quality on this one. All right. Cool. I'm really excited to have you guys on camera with me, and I'm really excited to share a little bit of a more extended reading. So this is something that I'm super excited for and that I wanted to do this month, but I just didn't get around to creating graphics. So if you guys are ready to jump into readings, go ahead and take a comfortable position. And that comfortable position could be sitting back, laying down, standing up, even stretching, or even moving as you're taking this position. Take a deep breath in through your nose and allow your eyes to feel heavy and to close, and exhale fully and completely through your mouth. Take another deep breath in through your nose, exhaling fully and completely out through your mouth. And as you take your last deep breath in through your nose, feeling this incredible energy of oxygen moving through your body, reminding you how human you are on this amazing gigantic rock we know as planet Earth, and reminding you of the cycle of life through this very cycle of breath. Exhaling fully and completely through your mouth. Allow yourself to simply take in your surroundings, whether that be a couch or a bed that you're sitting on, whether that be hearing the noise of your family moving about you, whether it be feeling your fur family snuggling against you. Just take this moment to be wherever you are, surrounded by whomever and whatever, but feeling ever so grounded in this moment. And as you feel so rooted and grounded in place in this present moment, think about what it is that brought you to this live stream today. Whether there be an intention for a particular purpose, an area of your life, a situation that you are moving through, or whether there be someone in your life that is in spirit that you'd like to connect with, hold that intention in your heart. And as you're breathing at your normal cadence, allow that intention to grow with every inhale, expanding with every exhale. And releasing that enormous grown energy into the universe, trusting and knowing that it will go exactly where it needs to go. And you can gently bring your awareness back to your fingers, back to your toes, back to the room, gently opening your eyes. And when you've returned, pull up your emoji keyboard and choose whatever emoji sticks out to you first. And if you guys see me look to my side, it's because I'm looking at comments on my computer. So I am viewing the comments from the stream on my computer. Before we get started, does anyone have any questions? I usually just jump into readings, but I feel like there's a question waiting. So Jay Salto says, anyone else having connection issues? Hi, Wendy from Redondo Beach. I don't think I've ever had so many people on a live stream from Southern California before, so this is really exciting to me. Welcome and thank you so much for being here. Growing up, Redondo Beach was the beach of choice for my family. So we'd go there often and walk around the pier. And my grandpa loved going fishing off of the pier, and have the childhood memory of going there at like 5 in the morning, which is early for kids. Early and cold. Okay. So if you have connection issues, I would try moving closer to your Wi-Fi router, or even refreshing your web page. I am not having any connection issues. And it could also be Twitch. So if you're logged in from Twitch or Facebook and you're having connection issues, try YouTube. If you're having issues with one of the others, I'm streaming to Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and jump into readings. I do feel called to start with Diane first. So, Diane, I'm just going to connect with your energy. And the first thing I see is it's like I see your avatar, Diane, and you are, hold on. Okay. I get really distracted when I see comments, so I just have to hide them. Okay. So, Diane, I see you. It's like you're sitting in a living room or a great room, and it's like you're in this really comfy, lazy boy recliner looking out the window. When I see you look out the window, oh, okay, first thing to notice is that it looks like you have a knitted or crocheted blanket on your lap. It actually, I feel like Spirit's gonna bring me back to these details. But it looks like you are knitting it as you use it, and it's white. Your hands are resting on your lap because you've paused to turn and look to your side out the window. And when I see you looking out the window, what I see is what you're seeing. And it looks like just a very flat plain of grass. And it looks like a silo, kind of like those grain silos where they hold grain that's harvested. And what stands out from this view, it's almost like looking at the Great Plains where everything's just flat and you don't really see anything other than the horizon. And this silo that's there. So first impression that I got from seeing this was that having kind of this open view and having endless possibilities of what could potentially be out there. But then this grain silo is obstructing the view. It's just like smack dab in the middle. And so it's almost like it doesn't feel like, oh, I have admiration for this grain silo. It actually feels like, oh, that darn grain silo. So I'm just going to connect with this grain silo to see symbolically what it means. When I tap into this grain silo, it feels like the word labor comes up, but it also feels like responsibility. And when I say responsibility, I think of what it must be like to grow up on a farm and to have all these farm chores or farm duties. But it also feels like a handed down responsibility. Like if you did have a farm and it was passed through the families, like this is not necessarily what you wanted to do with your life, but it was sort of inherited. So it feels like inherited responsibilities. It also feels like it's sort of anchoring you, but not anchoring in the grounded kind of way, but anchoring in a weighing you down kind of way. And I see this avatar of you, and it's like you're kind of like walking around the outside of this grain silo, and it's like the grain silo is leaking. There's grain all over the place. Not all over the place, but there's like grain that's spilled out. And you're picking it up, and it feels like resentment. So the grain silo represent kind of like storage and harvest, having having set aside the harvest, having set aside the fruits of your labor for later use. But what it feels like in terms of the resentment is that, you know, this is an old dream, is what it feels like. This is an old dream. This is someone else's ideal, and it's cracking, and the structure is falling apart because it's not what you wanted. It's not your dream. It's not your ideal. And so that it's cracking and it's falling apart, and kind of what's been stored away is spilling out. It feels like um, the grain that's spilling out and that you're kind of picking it up. It doesn't feel like it feels like you're cleaning up a mess. And what it feels like is kind of like sometimes we save things and we save things and we put them away. And then I don't know about you, but I'm really good at hiding things from myself. So sometimes when I have like $10 and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go tuck this away somewhere, I'll completely forget that it was there. And then I'm thinking back to economics and how they term like good money and bad money, and how money can be bad money if it's money supply that doesn't get used. So like when people collect coins and the coins don't get used, or when people collect $2 bills and they don't use the $2 bills because they're like, wow, this is so novelty. So it feels like the reason why I'm bringing this up is that this harvest, which has been put away and stored for later use as a sort of like security almost as well, to support livelihood, that it needs to be used. Like it's been stored too long and it needs to be used. And so it feels like while there may be resentment connected to let me turn that off. So while there may be this resentment towards this harvest, it feels like this harvest is now, it's time for it to benefit you. It's time for you to use it so that you can bring down the silo, not have it obstruct your view, so that you can have that view and allow yourself to dream and to create your own reality based on your dreams, to bring those dreams into fruition. And then your avatar is like, yes, bring your dreams into fruition. Like that's what they want you to know. And that oftentimes I feel like when people are branching out and they're doing their own thing, that they feel like they have to do it without any help. And I get that because a lot of times that help comes with strings attached. But in this case, it feels very much like this is it could be really special to use that energy, to co-create with that energy to bring your dreams to life. Huh. So now Spirit shows me like you're being handed a bouquet of red roses. Flowers to me symbolize kind of this, flowers mean different things to different people. To me, when I see flowers, I think of creation, abundance, and manifesting, because flowers are what, I don't want to say it's like the what you grow plants for, but it's sort of like the pinnacle of a plant when it grows. It's the adornment. But the red the red roses feel so much like Valentine's. But is this, and that's just me thinking out loud, is this a like a romantic relationship, like a intimate love exchange as far as the roses go. Okay. So I'm just asking questions about what these roses signify. And it feels like kind of tying into breaking away from whatever your family history or whatever career history you have, or whatever you've done in the past that you're breaking away from to like really live out your dreams. I feel like it's a monumental act of self-care, because one of my questions was, are these roses symbolic of like intimate love? And the answer was yes. And so trying to understand, like, well, who are the roses? Who is this intimate relationship with? And it's an intimate relationship with yourself. I get the sense of sacrifice in terms of like what you've done in your life leading up to this point. And it feels like that sacrifice has a lot to do with why you have this inherited responsibility. An inherited responsibility is not to say that what you've been doing with your life is necessarily good or bad. It's just that it's kind of like going with the flow, but not without really doing the check-in of like, oh, do I like, am I passionate about this? Or do I love this? Or does this truly resonate with me? Or does it resonate with me still? Because it may have been fulfilling and exciting at the beginning, but then now situations change and things are different. Okay, so your higher self, which I'm going to call it, which is really, I see it like an avatar representation of you kind of like playing charades with me, promptly did this, which is usually my signal that that was the end of the transmission. So Diane, yes, Diane, if you don't mind just sharing in the comments how that resonated with you or what it meant for you. And then my lovely partner, Ira, will be throwing up on the screen. Okay. So thanks, Diane. I'm just going to clear your energy. Okay, so let me see who I'm going to read for next. Okay, I feel called to read for Sandy from Redondo Beach. Says, again, thanks so much for being my local people. So let's see. I feel called to actually pull a card. So I'm going to show you this deck that I'm using today. Let's see here. Can you see that? It's called the Tarot of the Divine. And I started using this deck last year. And the reason why I got this deck, I don't own a ton of decks because I don't use cards that often. Whoa. Okay. It's because the cards are illustrated through folklore. And so I thought it was a really great way to familiarize myself with folklore. So the card that I pulled, and it came out before I could even shuffle, is for the moon. So this is for Sandy, the moon, and the moon reverse. So this is an interesting card to get, considering that we're in the full moon phase, or the full moon is like in a day or two. Whenever a card is reversed, what it signifies to me is a block, like a reversal of the energy. And I think that's significant to know, because the full moon has to do with being totally and completely in your power, being at the height of your awareness. and just being in the fullest expression of your magic as well. We're coming into the full moon phase, and I pulled the moon reverse for you, which tells me in specific, I feel like you're really scared of your own power. I mean, it shows me your higher self shows me. I see a lot of fear, and it also feels kind of like dramatic, but not dramatic as in terms of like invalidating or criticizing how you feel and what your fear looks like. But there's a lot of yelling, screaming. It feels very intense. And what it feels like is that there is a lot of pressure. There's a lot of external pressure to perform and to do things a certain way. And what I feel from you is that in your energy, that you get there, but you need to be able to ease into it at your own pace. And that's really anyone. Everyone needs to go into it at their own pace. So let me share what the moon is. Okay, this is from a Japanese folklore, which I don't know what the story is. And I'm going to read you guys what the story is. Okay, so this is Princess Kaguya, a Japanese fairy tale. The moon is a subconscious and all its... Is that it? Yeah. The moon is a subconscious and all its illusions, potentials, pitfalls, and the possibility of self-deception. Here, two tanukis, and those two tanukis are the little critters on the left and right side of the bridge. Shape-shifting raccoon-like animals each stare at a different moon, though it is not clear which is the real one. I feel like this has a lot to do with your own intuition and trusting your perception. And I feel like that's probably why you feel so intensely about your own power and like this, like being afraid of trusting it. I feel like you also grew up with a lot of paranormal, maybe not a lot, but it feels like very traumatic paranormal experiences, which is part of why there's that distrust there. I know that I come across a lot of people that have had lots of paranormal experiences, grew up with very pronounced psychic abilities, and I feel like all of those are because of just this openness, and that's natural for kids. But I feel like so many people could benefit from really basic energy management, energetic management, to help create a more comfortable experience. And I say that because a lot of times when people have paranormal experiences, we feel like we are helpless. But you have the body. They don't have the body. It takes a lot of energy for an ethereal being to take physical action, like make physical impact, because there is literally no matter there for them to do that. And so I feel like, and that's part of the reason why I teach psychic development, is because I want to empower people with these tools so that they can feel more empowered and comfortable in their life. So coming back to your moon reverse card, one of the first things that I would like you to do is set terms of engagement. Set hours of operation for when you're open to having spirits visit you and having paranormal experiences, because some people like that. And also deciding, like, as of right now, are you only available for benevolent spirits? Or are you open to everything? The more specific you can get, the more clear boundaries you can set for yourself, because that's basically what you're doing by setting hours of operations in terms of engagement, is you're creating boundaries. And energy is quite literal. So whatever statements you make about these boundaries, they are bound to them, because they don't have free will. They can't lie like we lie. Okay. The other thing is, when your energy is really low, your vibration is also low. And what happens is different energies have different vibrations too, which translates to their consciousness. Same thing with us. Our different levels of consciousness also have different levels of vibration. So lower levels of consciousness, like anger and sadness and jealousy, have lower vibrations. And same thing with, like, what we consider a haunting. So those are all considered lower vibrations. And so you are going to start creating a clearing practice, energy clearing practice for yourself, because that's going to help raise your vibration, which will also eliminate a lot of these unwanted experiences. Okay. The energy clearing is also going to help how you feel, because when you have all of these energies in your space, whether conscious or unconscious on your part, they feed off of your energy. They're like sucking your energy, and so you tend to feel more tired. It's harder, like you feel more sad. You tend to feel depressed, and so these are all things that are going to help you. And if you need energy clearing practices, I have a YouTube video of energy clearing practices that you can watch, and that one is really helpful too. I think it's also on my blog on my website. Free video, very helpful. Also the first video I ever created. Okay. And then you can also use what I call non-denominational prayers, because prayers are just a form of communication. Prayers are when you talk to energy, talk to your higher power. And you're going to use these prayers to help clear your energy. So it could be, like, if you believe in God, it could be, God, clear my energy and fill it with love and light and help it to heal. And that's it. If you don't believe in God, pray to your higher self. Higher self, clear my energy and fill it with love and light and help it to heal. The end. It's very basic. It's very simple, very accessible, and that's what I love. Very accessible. He's ready to implement practices. And that's what you can do for your energy clearing practice. Sometimes people need to change it up a bit, and so that watching the video will be helpful for you if you need more suggestions, like crystals or just any other thing. So if you stay consistent with these practices for the next 2 weeks, you will feel a big difference. You will feel like you have more energy even. So I'd love to hear back from you after you try out these things consistently for the next 2 weeks. And I feel like there, I keep seeing like this elderly, really gaunt um, energy come through, and it doesn't feel like it's a benevolent energy, but it doesn't feel like it's a haunting. And I just want to bring this up because it just feels like there has been so many different energies in your field, and I see that a lot. So I hope you don't feel bad in any way. But it's just because a lot of people don't know energy management. It's just not something we talk about as a collective. We call this stuff, the government calls it pseudoscience. No one's going to talk about it. Okay. But I feel like this particular energy that's like really gaunt looking, I feel like he's been around you for a long time. So I feel like doing all of these energy clearing practices will really help you release him as well. Um, if anyone's familiar with archangels, you could also pray to Archangel Zadkiel. Archangels are non-denominational, and ask Archangel Zadkiel to help that man's energy to move on. Okay. I'm going to pull another card to see if there's anything else. Okay, so I pulled the Two of Wands for you, Sandy. And it is a two-headed giant man holding two different wands. One is a key and one is like a wand from a tree, like a wooden wand. And behind him is water with lots of ships in it. And so this feels like kind of the duality of leading and needing a combination of like hard, structured approach, like the very masculine energy, and then while also having, I mean, what this card is basically saying is having a balance with your intuition. So as it pertains to like the moon is very representative of your intuition. I mean, everything that I said about what full moon energy is, um, a full moon amplifies your intuition. So if you ever notice like an increase in paranormal activity around a full moon, it's because the energy is potent. And so when it comes to this Two of Wands card, it's about finding a balance in how you kind of manage that energy. So giving it a home and accepting it and finding harmony between this very grounded human being life and rational thinking and human living connected with this like very spiritual energetic approach as well. I feel like the water, like the ocean in the back, um, I feel like that is to really highlight, because water is representative or symbolic of um, your subconscious mind. So it's related to the moon. And when you think about what different moon phases do with different water levels, like the tide rising and the tide moving, that's very illustrative of the connection between the two. But I feel like in this card, all that water in the background is really to hammer in how big of a role your subconscious plays. Um, and then kind of looking at the top of this card, there are a lot of purple grapes on the archway overhead. And I feel like that is also very much in line with like when you can find a balance of of having both of these things in your life, this human living, this very grounded human living, and this very like um, subconscious psychic awareness, having that your psychic abilities, kind of having that conscious relationship with it, that you have these calmer waters, and you also have this abundance about you. Because again, fruit of the labor, fruit, the harvest, the creation of the earth, that's all very symbolic of abundance. So in summary, in summary, I know I personally believe that when you have a balance of both, that's when you can really, really unleash your full potential, because you are a soul having a human experience. And to really honor your totality, it's honoring both parts, like recognizing and making space for your soul, but understanding that like being human is also part of it. So finding a balance of the two. Okay. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just going to clear my energy. And then if you don't mind just sharing how that resonates for you. Okay, I'm going to clear my energy and we'll see who is next. Namaste, Sassy. I think I'm going to do you next. I'll read for you next. Brittany. So that's Brittany from Nashville. Also, AKA Namaste. Namaste, Sassy. Is that right? I'm just going to call you Brittany. I get this very Leo sun and tarot card energy from you that's just really this happy-go-lucky, but it also feels like happy-go-lucky in a way that's you're sort of like a court jester, like you're a joker and an entertainer in that. And the way that they show me this is like kind of hopping around and just like moving your arms and just being really animated. I also see this in terms of you, the scene that I see your avatar in, kind of dancing around with this very jovial energy. It's very bright and sunny. So what I see the avatar doing is it's like tapping on its wrist. It's tapping on its wrist like it's tapping at a watch, bringing attention to the time. But it feels very playful because it's all still very like super animated. And it's like, if I had a full length camera, I would show you exactly what it looks like. But it's just like, look at the time. And then like hand on the hip, like, mm-mm-mm. So what does this mean? I'm hearing the word structure in a way that's kind of like uh, irreverent of time and structures is what it sounds like. And what does that mean? Irreverent of time and structures. I'm gonna pull a card for you. Ah, So the card just popped out. Okay. I also got the Two of Wands for you, Brittany. So I'm going to shuffle and see if another card comes out. Because that could be for you. I kind of already understand it. Okay. They're saying it's about consistency. Like, you don't really want to be confined by structures like time and rules. Like, you want to be able to just really free flow and do your thing. But they're saying like consistency helps. Like, you don't need to be entertaining. You don't need to be trying even in order to like make those connections, make the relationships that you're trying to cultivate or even call in, because you could even preserve more of your energy and through consistency accomplish the same thing. I see how Two of Wands can kind of fit into that, because it's a balance of the two. Because that really playful, entertaining energy, in some ways can be seen as like a lot of feminine energy, like feminine wanting to go with the flow, not really wanting the structure. That's typically masculine energy. But that's how you get burnout. When there's no balance, that's when burnout and exhaustion happen. And so finding a balance with them to both have space in your life, to structure, to flow, to be creative, to be task oriented, which is sometimes really boring. Like I get that. But it also helps manage your energy so that you can be in it for the long run. So see here. Oof, okay. So I pulled the Ten of Swords for you. And the Ten of Swords is if you can't see the picture that well, either because of my lighting or whatever, I'm going to describe it for you. But basically, I believe this is from an Inuit legend or Inuit mythology. It's a story about this man who takes his daughter out to the water, and he's actually drowning her. And I believe that, I don't want to disrespect, so I'm going to just double check the story. But I know that he cuts her fingers off. Okay, the Ten of Swords represents backstabbing and betrayal. Sedna's father pushes her from his kayak and chops off her fingers when she tries to cling to his boat. She sinks to the bottom of the ocean and becomes consumed with wrath, eternally seeking revenge. Okay. So that's the story. But as far as this card goes, this theme of like over giving or overdoing in that sense of imbalance. And in that sense of imbalance, I mean like overexpression, because everything is on a spectrum, everything's on a range. You could be on the very light, barely expressed side, you could be in the middle, or you could be overexpressed. And what I feel like this is, it's an overexpression of the vision and giving and even feeling. And it feels like Ten of Swords. I'm trying to think of what the Ten of Swords is in Rider-Waite, but 10 represents the completion of, like, the start of a new cycle. Swords represent your intellectual consciousness, and I feel like part of this is like having gone through a cycle. We go through cycles of 9. So consider a 9-year cycle. You're learning a lesson through these 9 years, experiencing different vibrations of each number year through this 9-year cycle. And when you complete that cycle, you begin a new one, and it's always elevated. You never regress, no matter what the perception is. And it feels like when you go, like you've gone through a cycle, you're beginning a new one, and it's like you're carrying so much of the hard lessons from the last cycle into this new cycle. And in this particular card, it feels like I feel like in your position, you're like the dad, where it's like kind of playing out how you understand, like kind of what you're perceiving things to be. When I say that, playing out how you perceive things to be, erase that. Playing out how you've been taught to do things. And I say that because you may have had experience with other people having a ton of energy going into, I don't know, I'm going to use this example of like content creators or entrepreneurs, and they just put so much energy because they're being really aggressive with their goals and their growth, but they're not honoring like how exhausted they are or how tense their body feels, which are all signals to take a break and slow down. And it could be because, you grew up and you saw your caregivers do everything for the family and never take a break. But it doesn't mean that that's what you're supposed to do. You have an opportunity to do whatever it is that you want, to live your life whatever way that you want, that feels the most supportive and nourishing for yourself. And so allowing yourself to break away and simply do you. That's what it feels like. I feel like that you are a humorous, very like, no matter what, you're always going to be a joking person. But it feels like this is like a permission slip for you to take a break, to relax, because even as we're kind of like digging through this, I see the avatar kind of be like, oh, thank God, like so much relief that you don't have to be 24/7 on show. And I kind of find that problematic because a lot of people do that. And I'll admit, I was even like that at some point when I first started my business. I thought I had to like be a walking display for whatever it is I thought people wanted. But people want to be human, like people want to live like a normal life. And when we are putting on a pedestal this like ideal life or whatever, what we're doing is we're perpetuating the toxic cycles of behaviors and like not resting, not caring for yourself, like those kinds of things. So that's what it feels like. I feel like you're going to go into a season of rest because the way that your higher self is telling me that it's done is it's like laying down, not sleeping, but like allowing yourself to like rest your head on the table and continue to watch. It just feels like taking a step back and being an observer as well. Okay. Okay. So thank you so much everyone for joining. Join me again. I'm going to connect with Brittany's energy. But Brittany, go ahead and drop in the comments how that resonated with you, if it connected with you or not, because it's always helpful for other people when they come and watch these live streams. But thanks so much for joining. Again, if you want to be on an on-camera live stream reading, join me. And oh, yes, absolutely. Yes. I have a friend that just returned to work in June or May after being a stay-at-home mom for 9 years. And I don't think she understood how important it was going to mean to her, like how big of a step, and like how like you wouldn't think that work is self-care. But it meant so much for her to have a job and to have her own source of income as well. So thanks for sharing that, Brittany. I appreciate you. And join my mailing list so that you can participate in the contest and get the full details to be on an on-camera reading with me in next month's live stream. And thank you so much. And I hope to see you guys next month. Have a wonderful evening.